I'm obviously speaking about Nerdwriter because that man literally taught me how to view this painting and paintings in general.
He's becoming, ultimate cultural commentator. He can,
Yeah.
comment on any aspect, be it social science, films, music, paintings.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy is going deep.
Just look at his website, okay? Not a very well frequented website because he's clearly not cared too much
Yeah.
about it. But if you just go to the format of the website, okay, it's just one page, it's just the landing page. His face is there once, but the book has been featured twice.
But I think in terms of, the world, I guess he should, go beyond the world. He should talk about Mars. He should talk about the philosophy of living on Mars, let's say, for example.
Wow, okay. I am definitely excited for that one, the philosophy of living in Mars. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Creator Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be speaking about one of my favorite creators of all time, a person I've been referring to for a very long time. But lately, he's been kind of away. I'm obviously speaking about Nerdwriter, but before we dive deeper into the Nerdwriter session, I'm going to introduce Shubham. Shubham, how's it going?
Yeah, ready to nerd on today's CDD. I mean, the love is mutual for, you know, or rather combined for
Yeah.
nerd writer Evan Puschak.
Evan Pushak.
So, yeah.
Shubham, this episode, I think we will also have to focus a lot on his body of work, right? Usually, of course, we talk about the style, which we will
Yeah.
be delving into. But just his body of work is just fascinating to me, right? And what's also very fascinating to me is the fact that the YouTube channel that he's created, right, which has slightly more than 3 million followers, was originally created to promote his book, right? He
Yeah.
was he was always very interested in literature and books and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he created this YouTube channel, and at the side he's been trying to write this book for a very long time. Of course, the book itself has taken many shapes and forms. He shifted countries as well, but he's been in the space. He's not. It's not like he was in a completely different space. He was an editor actually at MSNBC, and he had this YouTube channel. But I also know this, Shubham, interestingly, that video essays weren't the first things that he covered on YouTube. For a very long time on YouTube, he covered something totally different. What was that?
Yeah. So he started his YouTube channel with vlogging. He used to do vlogs, talk about, random stuff, from anything from, an airplane to, films, music. But
Yeah,
it was largely his vlogs, his
right.
views. He's going to appear in front of the camera. He's sitting outside, not even in his studio, which you
Hmm.
see him nowadays. But yeah, he made, some changes with time, of course. It
Yeah.
took him like 2 years to realize that vlogging is not his thing. It's not working for him.
Because do you think he was a bit like? Did you like his camera presence?
No, I mean, interestingly, he was very, jittery initially.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
correct.
not the, that calming effect in his voice. It was not there. He was, just like talking about a lot of stuff without even, planning it. Like production value was very bad.
Yeah, he was like a little bubbly first year child
Yeah,
who was very
very
excited.
young
Yeah,
guy.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like yeah,
Then he had to make a transition. I think he
right,
experimented a lot in between,
right,
and his transitional phase, I mean, he produced like 4 or 5 videos which
right.
people really liked, where he just like, talked, not even talked, he just showed, certain things like montages of arrows or the film endings or whatnot. And now he calls this, playlist like supercut as commentary. So
Super cut. Okay.
it's pretty, pretty interesting that his commentary phase
Hmm.
began from here.
Oh, so that was the transition into commentary, basically.
Yes, the video essays that ultimately, took shape in future. So I mean, it's pretty interesting that vlogging may not necessarily
Hmm.
translate into commentary. Vlogging is
Hmm.
vlogging. Even when you're commenting, it's not exactly commentary.
Sure. The commentary itself is, I think, a genre that, as a video essay, I think video essay as a genre was pretty much defined by this person, right? His cadence,
Absolutely,
the way he
absolutely.
spoke, the way he, his the depth in his voice and the kind of tone he takes, and he's such meticulous production now, Shubham. Like he's just so
Flawless.
flawless with his videos. Actually, that's really the word, and I'm really excited. Like I stop everything, whatever I'm doing, I just stop it midway if there's no title video.
Yeah,
If that videos come
absolutely.
up 7 or 8 minutes, I have to devote it to that. But I do understand, Shubham, that we have created a few lists. Both of us have created a list of our favorite
Nerdwriter
videos.
videos. Yeah.
So I'm very, very, very thrilled to, and of course, it is possible that I haven't seen some of the videos that you'll speak about, or probably you haven't seen some of the videos that I speak about. Although we have, gauged over most of his stuff, but
Yes,
in
all of it.
all of it, okay, all
Yeah.
of it, that's great. But in that case, whatever refresher we'll have, we can obviously talk about those videos, what you liked, what you did not like about it. Um, so let's start. How about you go first, and then I'll go with my first one.
So my first one would be listening to Blade Runner.
Okay.
For me, it was such a novel experience
Right.
because nobody told me to listen to a film. They
Yeah.
always told me to watch a film, right?
Right.
And I loved Blade Runner.
Right.
And but when I saw the video, and he actually made me, listen to the sounds of Blade Runner, I was like, oh my god, this guy
Right.
is the one. Yeah.
You know, interestingly, Shubham, with around sound, right? I think the recent video that he did on Top Gun as well, as to how
Oh yeah,
the Top
Maverick.
Gun, how on Maverick, it's exactly on Top Gun Maverick, on how it feels like a pop song, right? Like how the
Mm,
entire sequence, that whole, with the fighter jet, with the stealth fighter that's there, with the Black Star, I think it's called the Death Star, the Dark Star, I think. So that entire sequence, the way he compares that, I think this was classic Nerdwriter return
yeah.
to form. So I really love that. I also, talking about sound in movies, uh, how magic sounds like, which is the Harry Potter,
Oh, Harry Potter
right?
one.
This
Yes.
is this is one where it just blew my mind how
Silk.
different, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, how different directors looked at sound. Like, okay, this is the director during the initial few movies. Okay, we'll have it like this. As it becomes darker, we'll have darker sounds, and we'll have, this is going to be the pitch of the sound. I'm like, did they even think about it? Like, is this such a crazy thing, that, wow, that just blew my mind, as to how he could just, he makes you visualize the sound. And, like, that, I think, for me as a audio producer, like, somebody
Yeah.
who's worked in the audio space for so long,
I'll
being
add a
able to do
point
this.
here at this
Yeah.
point. You know what? Sometimes we may be thinking like, is he, going overboard with
Yeah.
his, analysis of something? Is he finding, meaning where there is no meaning at all?
Yeah. Is he
But,
escaping into meaning?
yeah, exactly. That's the title of the book.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I have two, points here to make. I think the role of a critique is just that. You need
Hmm.
to find out, the patterns of meaning in a body of work. In a way, an artist doesn't own, the artwork. It belongs to everyone, right?
Correct.
So in a way, he may be going overboard with some of his videos, but I think a classic critique, a person who's doing critique, I think that's what the job is. You have to find
Hmm.
meaning where nobody can, find. Even the creator cannot find meaning. So I think he's acing that.
Yeah. No, I think, this entire thing around meaning, again, it has been a complaint that's been there, that video essays in general, or even this,
Yeah.
I can also tell you about this, one of my favorite podcasts called Dissect, right, which is into, basically into music albums and everything. The biggest complaint there is that, it's too much, they just went overbearing with the meanings
Fluff.
where there
Yeah.
were, yeah,
Yeah.
with
Correct.
fluff, right, with too much. But also, I think that, I mean, it's his interpretation, right? Like, he's probably, it's his way of showing things. And again, looking at those meanings, I think meanings are like little tunnels of hope, right?
Oh,
Because
wow.
in a
Wow, man. Okay.
yeah, because in a world where, I mean, we all know, right? Like, again, pessimistic view, but there is very little meaning. Like, there is very, on a very narcissistic note, that way, that not narcissistic, rather, but like, in a very desolate view, if you have that, there is very little meaning. So if you have people like Nerdwriter who give enough depth to a existing body of work, my
Yeah.
point is, why not? If you can
Absolutely.
let me look at the Harry Potter sound, the whoosh sound of the wand, and look at it another way, I'm glad, I'm grateful that something like this exists, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just the movies, right, Shubham? Like, he's also done his analysis of art, right? I have to
Yeah.
talk about the death of Socrates, because that man literally taught me how to view this painting and paintings in general, right? He's of course done with Caravaggio as well, I think with Rembrandt, but with Socrates, this was probably my favorite one. I remember, my mother's actually a painter herself, and both of us
Okay.
sat together and we just, watched this video together, because it was so detailed, it was so well researched, and just the way he sort of, put it together. I'm like, this is it. His video essays on art, it's appalling almost as to how good this person can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I think where he's going with all of this is like he's becoming, ultimate cultural commentator. He can,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
comment on any aspect, be it social science, films, music, paintings.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy is going deep,
He's
and
going
that's
deep.
what people, that's why people are coming back to his channel. And speaking of coming back, I think his video on which is the best Wes Anderson film,
Hmm.
How Brothers Communicate,
Yeah, the
Darjeeling
Darjeeling
Limited.
Limited.
I think I've watched that video like 50 times.
Hmm.
I keep on going back to his videos. So I think that value to his adds value to his content.
Yeah, it's evergreen content actually.
Evergreen.
Yeah, because that's a very interesting point you mentioned, Shubham. Because I actually don't mind watching a Nerdwriter video again. Video,
Yes.
because video otherwise YouTube videos are notoriously not known for repeatability, right? Songs, of course, you can listen to again and again, but YouTube, mein, okay, 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 this is where the drop will come, this is where the
Correct.
engagement, this that. But I don't mind watching a video on Succession about how
Oh man,
say
how
what you
words have
mean,
no meaning.
how words have no meaning, right? Like, just, and this is, again, mind you, this is before Succession became the, I just remember watching this, I was like, I didn't even know what Succession was. Right now it's a global phenomena, right? Everybody's talking about it. But he did a video on that. And he's also done this interestingly, Shubham, on when we speak about words and dialogues, we cannot not talk about the one that he did on Noah Baumbach, and how realistic dialogue sounds like, where essentially it was how they were
Oh
speaking
yeah,
and they were just overlapping
speaking over each other.
over each other, which
Yeah,
is realistic. Of course, that did have some on the comment section. I saw that people are like, oh no, just because they're speaking over each other doesn't mean it's realistic. But it did have some some amount of truth to it. He's done it on Arrival, Truman Show, Children of
oh
Men, all of
man.
these, where he's just dissecting the language of Arrival. Was insane. I just loved it. Truman Show, the meaning behind it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, and I think intertextuality, right? I think that
Oh,
the video
what
on
a video.
intertextuality, I think, defines the basis of Nerdwriter, right? Because if you think about it, he himself is very intertextual, right? Like what he
Yeah,
does with his own stuff, right? With his own videos, he uses things from, okay, I'm borrowing it from there, I'm going to speak about it here, I'm going to speak. So intertextuality, the video on intertextuality is almost meta, right?
yeah.
Because he is talking about something that he himself really,
Yeah, agree. And speaking of definitions, he
yeah,
has put this description of his YouTube channel,
right,
like the Nerd Writer is a video series that puts ideas to work.
right.
I find it vague.
Yeah,
I don't think it's as clear as his videos, right?
correct,
I think
correct.
his title of the book is what defines his YouTube channel, like escaping into meaning, right?
Yeah, yeah. And his title that's there, right? Escaping into meaning, or escape into meaning. That's the book itself is just a collection of essays, right?
Essays, yeah, and
That's
weird essays, essays
yeah,
on public benches,
yeah,
essays on Superman, essays on unrelated topics.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
that one man's view of the
Correct,
world.
correct. And let's not forget, Shubham, that he's not restricting himself to just the traditional movies and art and music. He also did this path-breaking video on Casey Neistat,
Yeah,
right? On Casey Neistat, because how it was basically just a pulling the curtains of Casey Neistat, and how important he is to the entire YouTube community, and just to this creator community in general, being the forerunner creator. So he's also delved into that. Of course, not too much, because there are too many channels which are on that. But he really knows how to seep through, right? He really knows how to get to the depths of it, and then at the end of it be like, oh, I found it, I found the meaning, eureka.
yeah,
So I think he's really good at that with all of his videos. Yeah, with all of his videos, he's just
absolutely.
a
Yeah,
super pro. But I do have some complaints as well, Shubham. Like, if I'm being honest, these videos are there, whatever I mentioned, uh, you know even the one on Casey and whatnot. Now I feel that, is it true, or would you agree that he's almost taking his audience for granted, and he's just using his YouTube channel for his original purpose, which is to promote Escape, which is to promote the book. Now it's called Escape into Meaning. But now I just feel like, okay, all the videos are like, oh, it's about the essay which is going to be featured in the book, or it's just a snapshot of it. And then last minute there's a CTA which says, okay, purchase my book. Now it's become like that. Like, if you see his content for the past, I think, a year or something, it's just been that. So what are your thoughts on him
So,
becoming complacent.
so I disagree on that because his book is like a written form of his YouTube channel.
Hmm.
It's quite inseparable from
Hmm.
what he's doing at YouTube.
Hmm.
So when he talks about a particular essay on a particular video on his channel, I think it's a no-brainer, right?
Hmm.
Because you're a content creator.
Hmm. Hmm.
You have written something which is, of course, it's in written form. It's a book.
Right.
You should talk about it. And when it's so related, it's not like as if he has written a book on who's going to win the Super Bowl next year,
Sure.
and he's talking about it every video. So
Sure.
so I would say it's fine, as long as he keeps on adding new essays. He
Yeah.
brings on
Yeah.
like classic Nerdwriter, like the
Classic
Maverick
Nerdwriter.
video. So I mean, my hopes are high. Of
Yeah.
course, my expectations are high, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what he produces in the next, let's say, 5 years.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right, that you mentioned that, because I feel that no other YouTuber is so passionate about their books. Uh, just look at his website, okay? Not a very well frequented website because he's clearly not, cared too much
Yeah,
about it. But if you just go to the format of the website, okay, it's just one page, it's just the landing page. His face is there once, but the book has been featured twice. So you have this YouTuber who really wanted to start, wanted to have his own book, launched a YouTube channel. Now he has a YouTube channel. He's done essays on it, and the book is about those essays, or
yeah,
about video essays as a genre. And now he's promoting that book again on his YouTube. So I think that
amazing.
journey, that loop that Nerdwriter has, is simply fascinating to me. That he's so passionate about this book, and he's really earnest. Please purchase it, please share it. You can pre-order, pre-save, whatnot. So I am definitely going to sort of be
Yeah,
reading that or consuming
let's
that.
support him. Yeah,
Right, so that is there, but let's also understand this, right? Where do you think he can go from here? What would you like him to cover? I was thinking, okay, this is a slightly wacky idea and a small callback as well, that I would love for him to do a video on Andrew Schultz or on Bobby Lee, right? Links to those videos are actually right here. Um, but think about it, right? Like, he is basically if he's a commentator of our culture of the current day, then I think he should do videos on modern day comedians as well. Of course, he's done it on Norm Macdonald. He's done it on Louis C.K. as well.
legends. Yeah, yeah.
Legends, of course. But sure, and Andrew Schultz, legend in the making. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, yeah, in terms
Where
of
can our man Nerdy go from here?
I think in terms of people, I absolutely agree with you. He
Yeah,
should be, commenting a lot about, these people, especially people like Bobby Lee, who are really weird in a
yeah.
space, who don't fit in a category. But I think in terms of, the world, I guess he should, go beyond the world. He should talk
Hmm.
about Mars. He should talk about the philosophy of living on Mars, let's say, for example.
Wow. Okay, I am definitely excited for that one. The philosophy of living in Mars.
Yeah,
You have piqued my interest.
yeah. So, see, I think he has touched upon everything. And now, when the world is going, to Mars, thanks to Elon Musk and other people, it's time he took a leap as well. He talked about, time travel. I think he has touched upon these things a little bit, but I think talk about philosophy of living in different places.
Hmm. Nice.
So, I mean, sky is the limit. Not even sky. What is beyond
Beyond the
sky?
sky. Yeah, yeah. Beyond the
That's
sky
the
is the
thing.
limit for sure. With Nerdwriter, and I'd love for him to do long form videos as well. I don't mind listening to
Yeah.
him for 50 minutes, for 1 hour, as a podcast or whatever. Because admittedly, a lot of my initial style, like as a creator, as an audio creator, I used to emulate it. I was like, okay, this is how Nerdwriter speaks like,
Yeah.
and this is what
You
he
can
does.
hear it.
Okay, that was it. Thank you so much for watching this video of Creator Deep Dive, where we spoke about Nerdwriter. Clearly, we did nerd out a bit, but it's up to you to decide which one of his videos are your favorite. You have to comment down below and tell us what you like. We clearly have our favorites. That's it for now. We'll see you for the next Creator Deep Dive. I'm Shreevar.
This is Shubham Tiwari.
All right. See you soon. Bye.